Good morning, this is Teacher Christopher. I'm going to talk to you today about some poems for the 69th Hong Kong Speech Festival 2017. And these are poems by David Harmer, who is a very, very popular poet. And he writes poems that children love to listen to. Now, in this recording, I'm going to look at three of them. Who is my neighbour? All of Us Knocking at the Stable Door, and A Televised Surprise. I can do One Moment in Summer, but I just don't happen to have a copy available at the moment. Now let me tell you just a little bit about myself. Here I am. I am a native English speaker, as you can tell. I am a former lawyer, school governor, and university lecturer. I have been in Hong Kong for 9 years, and I teach presentation and public speaking skills to children and adults. My pronunciation is BBC English, and the service I offer is to provide you with 2 recordings of any poem or piece for the speech festival. The first version will be just in plain English so that you can learn proper pronunciation and enunciation. And the second will be with proper pronunciation and enunciation and also intonation so that you can give your very best performance at the speech festival. Okay, so let's start off with Who is My Neighbour by David Harmer. And I will give you an example of how I will do the first of the 2 recordings simply by saying the words in plain English so that you can copy them and learn how to say in a good English accent. Some people say that that is not important, but I disagree. If you can speak with a good English accent, then your poem will sound better. There is no doubt of that. Okay, so this is Who is My Neighbour by David Harmer. From Jerusalem to Jericho, the road was lonely, narrow, slow. A man came walking down the track as thieves crept up behind his back. Now, if you want to use my services, then I will record the whole poem in that way. Then I will record a second version, and that version will include intonation. And intonation is really very, very important. It's what makes the piece interesting. It's what makes the listener want to hear more and enjoy your piece. So here is that poem, this time with intonation. Who is My Neighbour by David Harmer. From Jerusalem to Jericho the road was lonely, narrow, slow. A man came walking down the track as thieves crept up behind his back. Now there are different ways to using intonation, and you might want to use your own, but I would strongly advise not to use a sing-song voice. And I have heard many poems on YouTube where the person saying the poem does so in just a sing-song voice but without proper intonation. Now, what is a sing-song voice? Let me give you an example. Who is My Neighbour by David Harmer. From Jerusalem to Jericho the road was lonely, narrow, slow. Now, that is really not the way to present a poem at the speech festival. Nobody, no native English speaker would speak like that. They certainly wouldn't say, a man came walking down the track as thieves crept up behind his back. That is just sing-song. It doesn't do anything for the poem. It doesn't help the listener understand what the poem is about. So please do not use a sing-song voice. Okay, so the next poem we're going to look at is All of Us Knocking at the Stable Door by David Harmer. And with this poem, I will just recite it with some intonation. So here we go. All of Us Knocking at the Stable Door by David Harmer. 3 great kings, 3 wise men tramp across the desert to Bethlehem. Arrive at the inn, don't travel no more. They start knocking at the stable door. Now let's look at A Televised Delight by David Harmer. A Televised Delight by David Harmer. Imagine our surprise, consternation, and delight, our teacher, on Come Dancing right before our eyes. So there you have some ideas as to how you can use intonation to make your poem or piece as interesting as possible. If you would like more information, just write to me at hongkongspeechfestival@gmail.com, and do please have a look at my website. And if you are going to make a performance at the speech festival, I do wish you the very best of luck. Okay, bye-bye.